All right, we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our first podcast about Sequester. Woo, I got my Sequester mini shirt on.
Yes, ma'am.
Sequester mini is greater than pandemics. So I have been so hyped to do this. So hyped for season 4.
Yes.
But before we get started, let's introduce ourselves, right?
Right.
Let's do that. Okay,
yes, ma'am.
Hey, everybody. My name is Hannah, and I was thinking we could introduce ourselves and kind of give a little bit of background about, like, if we've played a live reality game, because we're on the Live Reality Games Facebook, YouTube, podcast, and any, like, connection we have to Sequester World, right? How we got into Sequester, if we're into Sequester, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so my name is Hannah. I have watched the live versions of Sequester. I have played a live reality game before called Survival Challenge. And this summer I played Sequester Mini. And it was really fun because I won, so it was a blast. And and I've just been loving being a part of the community ever since. All right, that's me. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. Hi, I'm Luke. I'm 24 and I live in Asheville, North Carolina. I feel like I'm doing my Survivor audition tape right now. No, so I first found out all about live reality games. I found out about Survival Challenge from Adam Klein's Instagram, and from then I was became a little bit obsessed with live reality games. That's how I met Hannah, through Survival Challenge. So I've played 2 live reality games so far, and then my friend Pat down here introduced me to Sequester. He was saying, like, you got to check out these live seasons, they're awesome. So I checked him out, I was hooked. And then when all the minis started, I knew I had to play a mini, so then I did play in a mini. And unlike Hannah, I did not win. I was a pre-jury flop, but it was a ton of fun, and I've kind of followed all of the Sequester action. So
Yep. And then my name's Pat. I went to a Survivor audition last year, and at that time met someone who I won't name, but they were on Sequester one of the seasons. They might be on this season, who knows? And from there, I learned about Sequester, and it was during the Survivor off season, right after Untitled Idols. So after being really, not the best way with Survivor during season 39.
Such a fun, light, happy season.
Yeah, really, a real escapist thing. I'm glad it didn't come out in 2020, because that would have been the icing on the cake, really.
Yeah.
But from there, got into live reality games, and more specifically, I haven't played one, obviously, because I didn't get to play one during the pandemic because I live in New York. But I've been getting very into online reality games and a bunch of Discord app type games and stuff. But yes, also put Luke on to Sequester so I could have at least one person to talk to before I found out about our great community. So it's been fun.
Did you watch any of the minis during mini time?
Yes. So during the mini time, I wasn't like a weekly watcher, but watched all the Survivor ones, all the Big Brother ones, all the international ones. I've seen yours, Hannah. I've seen Luke's, obviously. Yes, Hannah, of course. I had to do my research. Come on. And then the one Luke was on, of course, I had to tune in to support my pal.
Which includes one of the people that are on
this
cast, too. So we'll get to that. Oh, 2 people. Oh, yeah.
Yes, there's 2.
Wow.
Yeah. Love minis, though. Minis is
619, guys. 619.
I know. 619 is a gem. But yeah.
So what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about the cast, all of them, all 13 of them, what we think about them, how we think they're going to do. We're going to draft them, which Pat is so good at drafts. He totally understands how they work.
The thing is, I'm gay, but I'm into sports. And then also, for some reason, when we do, the gay was just an extra add-in. But then we do a snake draft. And I said, what the hell is a snake draft? But yes, we'll have some fun. We'll have some fun with it.
If you think a snake draft was confusing, this is an even more confusing draft. So I'll just have to walk you guys through when we get there. So
namely me.
And then this video will be living on the Facebook page. It's on the YouTube page, and it will also be uploaded as a podcast for you to listen to. All you have to do is search Live Reality Games on your favorite podcast app of choice, and you'll find it to listen to. But before we get started, we wanted to give a disclaimer about opinions in this world of live reality games, in the world of Twitter. We understand that these are real people that we're going to be talking about, and we have opinions on them, and we don't mean offense in any way, right?
Yes. And they're not meant to hurt anyone's feelings. We're all very bored in this quarantine, and we need something to latch onto. Sequester is a great thing, regardless of pandemic or not, to latch onto. So if we get invested in this draft, or in the future, if we talk again about Sequester, it's not because we hate or love someone. It's just because the characters they're playing, they're really enthralling, and we get really into it.
Yeah.
But we'll never come for their lives or their livelihood, for the most part.
Yeah, we know a lot of these players. They're bold. They have opinions. So we'll give it right back to them. I feel like they'll appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm one of those weird people that, like, if someone is like hating on me or hating on my game, it like gives me more power. I don't know why. Like,
Yes.
I love it. So sorry, not sorry. That's all I meant to say. So before we get started, should we talk about like Sequester, the game? Like, if people don't know about it, like how the live reality game works, or
yeah, give us a quick rundown, Hannah.
Yeah.
Oh, rundown. Okay, here we go. Rundown.
I love it.
So I like describe Sequester, the live game, as like Big Brother meets the Genius meets the Challenge. So there's like there's challenges that like kind of like the Sequester mini, where there's like a twist that you have to work around.
Yeah.
But it's like more intense, like the show The Genius, if you've ever seen that, where like it's like some type of mental game, social strategy game. Someone ends up voted out, and then there's a battle match. So, which is kind of like the challenge, right? I don't even watch the challenge. Do you guys watch that?
We don't, but someone we podcast with does. And what I've gathered is that's what happens at the end. It's this battle match type thing. Which I only know from Sequester. So
yeah,
exactly. It's a
exactly.
very physical show. That's what I stay away from the physical shows.
Yeah. So like there's so the person voted out gets to put, I mean, in seasons past, they would get to nominate 2 people to go to the battle match, and then one person who loses the battle match is also out. Now that is back when the cast was bigger. So who knows if that's what it's going to be like for this season. But then also, once the jury starts, whoever is voted out then pulls someone else into a battle match with them, and then whoever survives that battle match gets to come back. So that's kind of like the big gist of the game. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think with a 13-person cast, we probably will only do the post-jury format, where the person that's voted out gets to choose somebody to battle. And the way that really changes the dynamic is you can just play a lot bolder, because if you get voted out, you might not even be out of the game. So if you're like really confident you can just kick somebody's butt in a challenge, then you might as well like risk it all. And if you get voted out, you can probably still stay in the game. So
yeah.
So Sequester definitely rewards like a different type of gameplay than Survivor and Big Brother, because getting voted out is you have more chances to save yourself.
Yes, and you can save yourself in that way. And then, of course, like Survivor, there's voting, but also to negate votes in the live and also on the minis. They have LOSs, which if you've seen the minis, it's usually when Audrey puts like a dot on the screen. Sometimes she does it a little differently. And someone types in the chat, a mod finds it, and so like such on. But in the live version, they have little, at least in like it changes every year, but they're usually like little light up balls.
Little night lights.
Yeah, basically night lights that people find. And we'll get into how that affects some of these players as well, especially the player that played before and how he found one. So, but then those can be played either to save yourself from a battle match or to save yourself from a vote, like an idol.
Yeah. So, so I guess I like, Luke, how you brought up how it's probably going to be different because it's a smaller cast.
Yeah.
I wonder if other things are going to be different now that I think about that.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting how, like, do they just start out and be like, all right, everybody's on jury. Welcome to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't want to go into too much of like my like live reality game history. I don't want to be one of those people, but like my first live reality game was a 13-person cast and everybody was on the jury. And there was also, similar to Sequester, a battle back type situation where like late in the game, there was an opportunity for one of the eliminated people to come back into the game. And we've seen that in the past Sequester seasons also, where there's, a battle back at some point.
Mhm.
And in the previous seasons, it was somebody from the pre-jury at the jury phase gets to come back. But if we started the jury phase, who knows how they're going to do that? Maybe they won't have a battle back, or maybe it'll be done later in the season. So
When that happened with your game, did they announce it at the beginning? Like, hey, everybody, you're all on jury?
no. So the first live reality game I played, it was hosted by Kirk and Dustin, who are like our fathers here on the live reality games.
Yes.
Basically. Kirk and Dustin. But no, basically when people got voted out, like players in the game didn't know where they went. We're like, are they out of the game? Are they like, maybe they're just like taking a shower and like recuperating right now? But like as time went on, it became very clear that like these like no one was spectating. Like we never saw the other players.
Right.
It's like eventually we figured out that it was like a Redemption Island type twist, but we didn't know that at the time.
That surprise could be fun though.
I know, that could be a fun little twist in there.
That could be big for this season too, to see how it plays out. Whatever Audrey has up her sleeve a little bit. If she pulls that out, that'd be kind of dope.
Well, let's get started. Queen Timotina said, super excited to hear what you have to say about this cast.
We got
Hey,
Queen Timotina, King Lance in the chat.
Come on, Kim.
Hey, Lance, how's it going? All right, so you guys ready to jump into our draft and talking about this cast?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So fun fact is that we all did our homework on. So we drafted who we did our homework on, which Pat was really good at, and so we're gonna draft who we want on our draft team, but then we're all gonna explain. We're gonna kind of give the rundown on each character. I mean, each person. They're not characters; they're people.
Yes.
So to get started in Sequester fashion, I got a wheel to figure out who will draft first. This is classic Sequester.
Yes.
So let's see who will be drafting first. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do this. What does Audrey do? She like clicks the middle a little bit. She goes, "Oh, let's go." This noise still gives me stress.
The Wheel of Misfortune.
All right, Luke, you get to draft first.
Okay.
I think I have to go down here and remove you. How does this work? Oh, no, I'm not Audrey. Oh, wait, here's the next. Okay. And then, oops. Right. And then the person going next will be me.
Okay. Okay, so we got me first, Hannah second, Pat third. And then I have a draft order that was calculated by a very fancy website of the fairest way to draft. So I will very fairly say who goes first and second. Okay, so the first person I'm going to draft is somebody that I'm a little bit familiar with. So I'm going to pick Katie as my number one draft pick. So Katie was Katie was the winner of the mini that I played in on 619. And I mean, I remember when she played, everybody was like, wow, this is the best first-time player that we've seen. Like, she played an impeccable game on her very first mini and just, like, annihilated it. Like, she played very bold and aggressive, but smart. She was so super likable. I can even, like, still remember what her intro video was about. It was, like, jumping off of the cliff and, like, breaking her butt. Something along those lines. It was super funny and super charming. On top of that, she's, like, she has a degree in therapeutic recreation, which to me just seems like the perfect degree to have to play a game like this. You know, recreation, like, she's probably good at challenges, like lots of random skills, and also, of course, the therapy aspect of the social game. What do you guys have to say about Katie?
I am so impressed that this is your first pick because she is coming in with one of the big threats of this game and one of the big targets. And so this is kind of like a spoiler alert, but obviously there's a ton of big names, big threats, big targets.
That's what I feel fine about picking her first, because I mean, in a sea of big threats, like, I think she's like middle of the road.
Yeah.
Which you would have never, when you think of Katie, you would have never thought that before. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to hear that she's going to play Sequester, you're like, oh man, she's going to be a huge threat. But I think that it works out well for her because she can, if she chooses to play kind of more under the radar a little bit and let the big targets go first or something, that could be good for her.
That first round's going to be really important for all of these big threats in general too, because there's Katie, obviously. We'll get to some of the other ones just that are inside the Sequester world and out. That first round or two where these people are really setting up how they're going to play this live version of the game is going to be huge for her game. And like you were saying, Hannah, like if she comes out the gate and plays like a big threat, that could bite her in the butt, or also, you know, show just that she's just that good at the game too, which is important. But like Hannah said, that's a strong pick coming in number one.
Yeah, and here's my question about Katie. Is she a one-hit wonder? Because she was able to come in the game that you played with her and be like completely like play at the best she can, the best she could, and did amazing. But then everybody now knows about that she has that ability. So she's played 3 times since then, I think, and hasn't been able to win, but she's played well. I played Winners at War 2 with her, which was the game was fun, but I love the people that I met because of playing that game. So she's one of the, you know, people I'm really glad I got to meet. And I don't know, the second that Katie starts not dictating, but, you know, starts like playing bold, are people going to be like, oh, Katie's being Katie, we got to get her out?
Yeah, I know, and that's what I kept coming back to. But there's so many bold players in this cast. Like, it's easier to count the people that are more like under the radar and like middle of the road than people that are like bold. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that she can hide behind. And Katie's gonna be bold. Lance has it right.
Yeah, Lance got it right.
Also, just to talk a little bit about what we know about these people, you know, their connections. I'm not super connected to Sequester, so Hannah might know a little bit more. You know, but one of the things I know is that Katie is really good friends with Brendan's brother, who's on this cast. Brendan is on the cast. Hannah, I don't know, is that public knowledge that Brendan is Blizzard's brother and that, you know, they might have that connection?
Yeah, so they played this game in October, and like by then it was very well known how close Katie is with Blizzard, and the Brendan and Al and Katie are friends. Like, I think it probably at least a couple people will know, and therefore spread it around.
Right. Okay, gotcha. I didn't know about that when I made my draft order. So that was one thing I was like, this could either work out really well for her if people don't know, because I think they're both great players. But, you know, if people do know, obviously that's going to kind of negate their effectiveness. Other people I was thinking that she was going to work with, maybe Spencer, because he's also from the 619 mini. And Brent in particular, I remember him being super complimentary of Katie, like, you know, why isn't this girl on reality TV? She's incredible. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's bold. And I feel like their personalities obviously could clash, but I think because of their kind of pre-game relationship, they're going to work really closely together.
Oh, I would love that duo.
Me
honestly.
too.
It's going to be lit.
All right, you guys ready for my pick?
Yeah, go for it.
I want to see where you go.
This goes perfectly with my pick. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
My first pick of the board is my boy Brendan.
Wow.
Speaking of Brendan, he is my first pick because I am a Brendan fan through and through. Like, so me and Luke met Brendan last summer. Nope. 2 summers ago. There was a pandemic. Let's just forget last time. The summer of 2019, Brendan played the live reality game Survival Challenge, and I got to be on the video crew for that, and I got to film his confessionals. I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes, and Brendan is TV gold. I'm obsessed, and I'm actually, you know, I'm editing the episodes right now for this game that you guys played. And, you know, when I get to his confessionals, I'm just glued to the screen. He is so much fun. The way he gives confessionals are just like, they're captivating, all that to say. But let's talk about his game, okay? He is a gamer. He is really smart. He is, I mean, let's use the word bold again. He is extremely bold. So that is what, and I had to pick him first because I'm a huge fan, and I want to root for him to win this thing. So, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I had Brendan 4th on my draft, so I had him pretty high up. The thing that sticks out to me about Brendan is that exactly what you said. Like, he is captivating, he is charismatic, and I think it's too obvious. I think that in Survival Challenge, I only played with him for one round. He was the merge boot, and so we weren't together very long. But my impression of Brendan at the time was, this guy's very likable, but almost like I could only have like a very surface level relationship with Brendan. Like there's a certain amount in the game, at least, where he doesn't come off as very authentic. So I think that while anybody would be open to working with him, I don't know that anybody is going to like put their 100% trust in him.
Yeah, I would agree with, because I played like a weekend game with him once.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, Luke did too.
Very briefly, Hannah.
I can't.
And I I felt like Brendan was good with me, but I felt like he always had other deals going on. Exactly. He did, but you just have that feeling like that he's playing you. And so, did you guys? I'm sure you guys have seen the trailer of.
Oh yeah.
Of the first episode. Did you guys catch when who is he talking? Is he talking to Brent?
It seems
yes.
Yes,
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, like that one quote where it's like really
like, I need somebody else to put up or something like that.
Like pretty loudly too.
Yeah. It just felt like he was in a deciding spot, which is risky for the first vote, but he plays risky. Oh, and what I want to say about Brendan is, in my opinion, Brendan is either the person that gets voted out really soon, or he's going to go to the very end, which is exactly from the Sequester mini that he won, the Live to Give mini. He was technically voted out first, but the girl who, but there's a girl who had to be tech evac, and so instead of Audrey losing Brendan and this girl, she was like, Brendan, you are not voted out. You're still in. And he went and he came back and he won the game. It was amazing. And I'm such a big Brendan fan. I think he's always thinking outside the box, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
And just like his brother does. Man, I wish I had a brother that I could just talk nonstop strategy with. That'd be awesome. So
bounce it off.
Yeah. So any other thoughts about Brendan?
He just seems, I didn't get to watch his mini live, the one he won, obviously. But just seeing and knowing via other things he's done and other places he's been, just in general, seeing him and listening to his interviews with RHAP and things like that, he's very charismatic, really is glued to other types of people. So he'll be talking just to Taryn Armstrong. He'll be talking to someone in different forms of pre-game press, and you could just see that he molds himself to that conversation. So that can be a threat. So he has to, try and minimize that a little bit. Obviously, it's already happened, but I would like to see him minimize that a little bit and hopefully not come too much out of the gates and show that social game a little too early. But hopefully,
do you think he'll be able to do that?
I don't know. I don't. He's one of those, he's obviously number 2 for a reason. He's one of those threats that's just obvious. So hopefully he can.
I think the big thing is just if he can get just a couple people to trust him, really, really trust him, then I think he can go far. But I think just that is going to be trouble. I think even, watching some of the footage of Survival Challenge, I don't think that he was really anybody's number 1 on his original tribe, and they had quite a bit of time to get to know each other.
Right.
Yeah, and what Lance said in the chat, he said Brendan has grown so much since Survival Challenge. I think that he learns a lot from each game he plays. He texted me once after one of his minis, I think the private Winners at War, and he was it was a crazy twist that he went out on. And we just kind of talked about what he could have done better. So, yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to Pat. You have the 3rd pick.
And you have the 4th pick.
Yeah.
This is why I'm going to make a pick of someone that I adore. I've never got to meet, obviously, or talk to, but I think she is a lovely lady. And for number 4, I'm going to pick someone, but we'll talk about them after. For number 3, I feel like this is going to break Hannah's heart.
It is. I can feel it.
I love Muna with all my heart. She is, I love her, adore her, adorable. And here's my reasons for, I know, look at her tower pose.
Oh.
She's so adorable, yes. However, badass bitch. I would trust her with my life. I didn't know what her career was before doing more research. Yes, Lance Muna, heart in the chat. But paralegal makes so much sense because she is someone who is meticulous with what she's doing, social game or strategy-wise, but she's just so fun. And here's what I didn't know also coming into my homework portion of it. So, of course, she's done extremely well in minis. And I'm not sure of any live games she's played or any other orgs, but I know at least in the minis has done extremely well from the quick. Obviously, I've seen hers, but the quick other ones she's done as well. She's very involved in our community, obviously. But she's also very good friends with Brent. And he didn't tell her that when they were driving to the season together, that they were going to be on the season together. So I'm very curious to see how she takes that. I hope it's in a nice way. And then she can have an even bigger target in front of her. But yes, she has that ability to just talk to anyone, very similar to Brendan in that sense. And I can't say enough good things about how sweet she seems and how I would love to one day when this is all over and we get to meet some people, love to meet her or play a game with her because she is she's just someone I've never met her and I love her. So I couldn't imagine.
I know actually meeting her.
We'll be obsessed. What would that be like? So
I have some more info on Muna. She's 22 years old.
That blew my mind.
That blows my mind too.
She is so mature. I mean, for when I was 20, I don't know. When I was 22, I was not mature. She has played, I believe, 5 minis before. Yes. She has got, and a lot of the minis she played were kind of like all-star minis. Like she played Heroes versus Villains. She's played Winners at, right? She played the first Winners at War.
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
She got second in the Shadows game. Did you guys watch Shadows?
I didn't watch it, but that looked crazy.
So the how you brought up how she's a good talker. She is a poet. She is a really amazing poet. And that final tribal, I don't know what they call it in Sequester, the jury questioning of the Shadows game was one of the most amazing jury questioning and jury answers that I had really ever seen. And there was 4 people though. That might have been why it was so intense, is that there was 4 people doing that final tribal. And if she makes it to the end, she will be able to create, at the end, you talk about in final tribals or whatever about having the story of your game and the story of, and really drawing people in. She will get that in a heartbeat. She will get people invested in her story and why she should win. Once you watch her play, you are immediately a fan. I don't think she's one of those people that people don't like.
Yeah, she's not polarizing.
No, there's people on this cast that are polarizing.
Yeah.
Muna is not. Muna, you are immediately a fan of her.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I think that what I like about her, and not to bag on Brendan at all, but I think that what she has that he doesn't is authenticity. She comes off as the sweetest, most lovely person that you would just connect with immediately if you met her. And listening to her RHGP interview, she was saying that playing the minis has changed her and given her so much confidence. I just I love that story. And it's insane how well that she's placed in her minis when people already know how big of a threat she is coming in.
Yeah, I would be one of those people that I would align with her just to lose to her kind of thing. You hear about that? All right, Muna, I'll go to the end with you. I love how Kim says right here, Muna is freaking amazing. Hamza would say that she's a good talker, and she is. Lance is saying that Muna would think rounds ahead and try to seek her path to the end. I think so. I don't think I could, right now, as a 29-year-old woman, I can't play like Muna did. And when I was 22, I could definitely not play like she plays. So we talked about, we're going to talk about some of the other big names, big threats of this game. Muna's one of those big names, big threats. Who, actually, I don't know if this is a good time to stop down now that I brought this up. If I pull up the whole cast on the screen, could we list who are if Winners at War had lions and hyenas, how Tony was the lions need to stick together. Yeah. Wouldn't you say there's out of 13 people, there's 8 lions? There's so many.
But I do think Muna is maybe the biggest one. In my opinion, she's the person, if she gets to the end, she wins. It doesn't matter who she's sitting next to. She can be next to Brent. She can be next to Shireen. She is not losing, period.
Yeah.
That's on period.
That's on sure.
I
For
love
real
it.
though.
I love
And
it.
it's
Love
just-
it. Look at her. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be talking about who she needs to, just work with those big names kind of things. So,
Yeah. I mean, just thinking about who she would work with, I think, we've mentioned Brent already. She voted for Jacob to win in Winners at War, so that's a connection. And he's definitely, I don't know if I would say that he's like a lion personality, but I think Jacob is one of the bigger names since he's won 2 minis. So
Yeah.
I think that those are people that she should be working with.
yeah, that's perfect. Love it.
Okay, so Pat, you get pick number 4.
Round 2. Well, not round 2, but I guess let's start round 2. Of
Yeah,
picks.
yeah.
And so I got Queen Muna, obviously, but I wanted
Rub it
to.
in.
I know, I'm sorry. I wanted to take this time to not just take another threat, but see someone who, I don't know if it's really a sleeper pick in everyone's eyes, but I have metaphorically fallen in love with this person from watching Luke's mini. So I'm taking this person as a high risk, high reward, I guess. I am choosing Spencer from the 619 mini, but also from, I think he also played Shadows. And also All Stars, obviously. I see high potential out of Spencer, which is something that I've had to argue and almost die on this cross. However, from watching the mini, all of his minis, he is very good at, getting through those first couple rounds for the most part. And I start to see him fumble the bag around the middle of the game is whenever, so that's what I want to see him work more on. But I believe in a more in-person type of game, I don't see him being that person that goes out first or second, or even in the first couple rounds. I see him as more of like a Dustin from season 3 of the live game, who made it a bit further. They have very similar personalities, whereas like Dustin could be seen as very abrasive or very loving, depending on how you see what side of the coin he's on. I get very much of those vibes. I would be curious to see like what their like zodiac signs, or if they're like, what their Myers-Briggs is, because they come off as very much the same. In terms of strategy, though, Spencer seems to be good at strategy, but just needs to have that one sidekick with him to make it happen. And there's some people on this cast that he's obviously played with, like Brendan, and obviously all the people from All Stars, the people from Shadows as well, who he has to mitigate. Is there going to be a risk, or is there going to be a reward to working with these people that had to vote him out? Because obviously he's never won, and he's played with a lot of these people before. But for some reason, I'm just getting good vibes from this. I just think it's just a pick that, like, in my heart, I'm like, I could pick Brent, I could pick Shireen, but I'm like, I'd rather pick someone who's kind of in that middle of the pack, who's not a huge name, to hopefully get himself to the end.
Pat, you are dreaming if you think that Spencer's winning. No chance.
Listen.
If you pull up the cast list again, tell me who he's beating.
Listen. I'm not saying on. I'm looking at the class list now, and now that you put it, there we go. Now that you put it that way,
Okay. Can he make big moves? This is the cast that whoever makes it to the end and proves that they were running the game. This is the cast that believes in running the game.
Yes, exactly, and that's why
fair. That's fair.
I know we haven't gotten to Shireen yet, but she said something in hers that I thought was perfect. She said, Survivor is a game that rewards mediocre people, and Sequester rewards bold people. And if Survivor, this was like a regular Survivor season, if Spencer was just one of 20 people, like a normal Survivor cast, so there's big names and little names, and he's definitely in that middle. He's smart and he knows the game, but he's not gonna win against this cast. So
that is fair.
Unless he could prove that he was running things and someone else wasn't.
That's what I like to see.
I just don't see him running things, though.
I think it's hard to see, but if you think about it, and that's why a middle of the ground person I think might work for this, because as much as I like the big names in this season, I love the idea of them having to battle it out, or even having Muna and Brent at the end. That would be crazy, and that'd be mad fun to watch them battle it out, or just Jacob or Brendan or any of these people at the end. But at the same time, a middle of the ground person has so many people ahead of him to get out to establish that name for himself, even though he's still kind of lower mid tier. He could vote out all these people and make these moves. But like Hannah said, will he do it? Not sure. However, since I already got Muna, I was like, let me get my baby. like let me put him on my team. So
you really went like opposite ends, like Muna, like the biggest name, like the biggest threat,
Hey.
and then Spencer, who's like the bottom of my draft list, like scraping the bottom, like
which and I just saw. I don't know. I just want to take a risk. There's someone else I really want as well, but hopefully they're still there.
I like watched all the RHAP interviews and took notes on everybody, and most people had like 8 to 10 lines. But Spencer, I took like 2 lines of notes because I was just like, I couldn't even pay attention. It was so boring. Like this is the only cast person that like I don't get behind. Like I don't get it.
No, you know what? I don't disagree with any of the points you brought up. I just want to, but it's like when you're making stocks, like, Muna is my Apple stock. I know she's going to go up. Spencer, he's one of those like farm tech companies that might make a vaccine. So I'm like, let me put like $20 in there now because I would like to retire early. So we'll see.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. So I am like torn between my next pick. I go next, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm torn between 2 people. One is more risky than the other. So I'm going to go with the slightly safer pick, and I think that the other pick will come around to me. So with my next pick, I am going with 2-time winner himself, Jacob Jones. I think that he is honestly one of the safest picks to win out of this whole cast. I think that he has such winner potential. He has won 2 Sequester minis, was the first 2-time winner because he won Winners at War. And he is likable. He is adorable. And he is very strategic. And I think that he is like one of those people that is like under the radar, but also making big moves, which I like to think that I'm like. I don't know if that's really what I'm like, but I think that he's going to do well. I think he has good friends in this cast. And what do you guys think?
This is who I was going to pick. I'm actually really mad that you just picked him.
Yeah.
He was number 3 on my draft. He was number 3 on my draft board. So I agree with everything you said. Like, I think that he comes in with a big target, but again, like we've said a million times, there's a lot of big targets in this game. And so if he's not the first out, I don't see him going for a really long time because I think at that point, he really like locks himself in with his social game. And something we didn't really touch on yet is that this is a week-long game, as far as I know. It's a week-long. It's only 13 people. These rounds are going to be really slow compared to any previous Sequester game or compared to most live reality games. So he's really going to have time to like work his social game if that's his, best asset. And I also liked in his RHAP interview talking about how he knows that his social game is naturally good. He's really going to focus on this strategy this time. So I think that he's really he's not going to stop thinking, every night before he goes to bed, I'm sure he's going to be running through strategies and just making sure that he has like, everything is nice and tight.
And he also seems like one of those people that like naturally has a social game.
Yeah.
Where maybe like, even if you don't even are laying awake thinking about it, just in the moment, he could, I feel like he's that type of person that just knows what to say in the moment and knows what to do. Like, and I also, I gotta say that like, the scene from the first episode trailer where he claps his hands lives rent free in my head. I think about that like once or twice a day. I'll just think of the
okay. And the thing is too, and it's mentioned a lot, not really with Big Brother, but with Survivor, and especially with the Sequester the live game specifically, you can pretend to be someone for only so much time, especially when you're in the stress of a game or in terms of Sequester, like if it's a week-long sprint, you're only going to really have that much of time to like be yourself. You can try to be someone else, but it's not going to work. But that's the thing with him. He is himself to a T. He doesn't have to change anything. He doesn't have to go into any sort of box. And in this, and in almost in the staff, in this cast, he has people he can go to and look for and that immediate social connection, but he also has the skills to just be himself and get even more social connections. So 100% fantastic.
Like there's like, I just feel like he has to be in the end game.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Somewhere at that final table, whether it's him making the choice of who to take or who to drag and all that, or not getting dragged, something like that, like a fallen angel possibly. But he's gonna be in that like top 3-4.
I'm like really regretting not making him my number 1 pick right now. I'm just like, dang, why did I let him slide so far?
Yeah, you did.
I chose Spencer above him, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Pure aesthetic. No,
Okay.
Jacob's also hot. Sorry, keep going.
So I'm going to pick Shireen. So
wow,
Fair.
you're taking the big bold girls, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I am. I mean, I didn't get Muna, but that would have really rounded me out. But I think Shireen is coming in on first glance. I'm like, there's no way Shireen's winning this. I don't think she's going to fit in. I think that maybe her social game isn't the greatest, but I do think she's at least self-aware of that. I think she even says in an interview, she says she can't do the shallow, align with everybody type gameplay. Like she has to just pick the people she vibes with. And from there, she's a really amazing strategist. She's obviously extremely intelligent. You know, it says in her bio that she's a tech and poker innovator. Obviously, she was on the White Collar Tribe in, Worlds Apart. I think she's just like really proven herself as a strategist. She's said that she played in 7 orgs during quarantine, and she only got voted out like 1 time out of
I heard that.
orgs that she played. That's insane. She was talking about like lining her clothes with like extra fabric to block out an LOS from like the LED light. Like top tier, like insane, thinking everything through. I'm sure that she went through every single twist and like thought about what's the best strategy for this particular twist. So in this cast of like mega strategists, I think that Shireen could be like the most intelligent one of them all, of like really gaming this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say like I love the nerd girl archetype on Survivor. Like that's always who I root for. The Gabby, the Aubrey, the Hannah. Like I'm a huge fan of that archetype. But for some reason, I did not enjoy Shireen on Survivor. I think she went through a ton of crap, and that season was not very enjoyable. Speaking of like No Island of the Idols, World Park was very enjoyable, which is ironic because
speaking of Dans that are canceled.
Period.
Wow, I did not make that connection until right now. So I did not really enjoy watching her. When she played her minis, the Survivor mini that she made it far in I did not enjoy her game on that at the end. I liked it at the beginning, but the more she drank, it was not like, it was like,
that was
come
dark.
on, you have so much potential. And
I agree. What I loved about her in that mini is that she stayed in the same room for like 90% of the game. Like she just never left that one room. I thought it was hilarious. And what I loved in her interview with RTP is she spent like over half of it talking about how she pre-gamed for the International Survivor mini. And she got to the end of it. I'm like, this has absolutely no relevance. I'm sure Taryn in his mind is just like, you have not answered a single question. Like, she was the longest monologue of all time. And it was incredible. And then the rest of her interview was fantastic. Like she gave great answers.
Yep.
She said that line about Survivor rewards the most mediocre. She, really is like finding the loopholes and the twists. So
I think she's going to do that this game. I think she's going to do a good job of figuring out the challenges, what to do, making it happen. And I mean, do you guys view her as a loyal player? Do you think people are going to trust her? Like, yeah, I feel like they would, right?
Yeah.
I think she's loyal.
It's like, why wouldn't they too? And also, like, she has that durability. Like, she's played Survivor, so people like are gonna be like, "Oh, obviously we know you," and it's like we've seen you on TV, but now it's like we know that you know how to play and play strategically. We've seen you in the mini, so I would rely on her 100%.
Do you think she's gonna end up in a fight with anybody?
Of the people on this cast, like I wouldn't rank her like the highest of like fight potential. I would say like she's like middle of the road for fight potential, like drama potential.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she's opposed to it, but I don't think she's like taking the fight to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't think Jacob's clapping at her in that?
That or Jay West, I feel like Jay. I feel like they might. I can't tell if they'd be good friends or like really get under each other's skin.
Does Shireen and Brent have any beef? Because I feel like I was putting them as aligning in my head, but I was just trying to think. I'm like, those are totally 2 people who could have like beef on Twitter or something that I don't know about.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know either.
Surprise me at all. But I was thinking she's gonna work with Brent. I think she'll probably work with Muna. I think if she can get in with those 2, that would be a madhouse trio. Like that would be insane.
Yeah.
That leads me to my pick. Right?
No.
It's my turn next?
Pat is next.
Oh, poop. I don't think you're going to pick who I'm going to pick, though.
I just took a risky pick, so I want to take one that is someone that I want to believe in. Oh, but now I don't know. I thought I was going 2 from now. Oh man, there's someone I'm in
Me
love
too.
with. There's someone I'm in love with, but there's someone that I think will be better insulated somehow. Okay, here's my pick. It's a kind of another risky pick, but also I think it's more stable than Spencer. I'm picking someone that in our group chat I said I was terrified of, but I would love to meet. I'm choosing Brent.
No, that's who I was gonna pick.
Okay. See, okay, that
That's
makes
your
me
safe pick?
a little bit compared
Okay.
to Spencer. A little bit, yes.
Okay.
Admit it. That picture, boy. Come on now.
I like this one better.
I know, Luke.
No,
Why
me
didn't
too.
you should have done this pose
I'm not
for
judging-
your our picture.
No, I know. I'm just saying how they do my boy like that. Anyway, I love Brent. I love listening to Brent and watching Brent. I am terrified of the next words that are about to come out of my mouth. They're not even bad. I'm just afraid of him being mad at me. But no, I'm excited for Brent. And again, like I said, I take risks in terms of drafts. It makes it more fun for me. And I like having people that I want to root for. So, of course, Muna, Spencer, selfishly. But then Brent is someone I want to see do well. He's done decently well, right, in the minis, obviously. But
Yeah, I
not like...
have his like a little bit of his stats if you want me to run them down real quick.
Yes.
All right, he's 45, a casino dealer and podcaster. He lives in I think Kentucky, like right by Cincinnati. So that's like 45 minutes for me. So that feels so cool. He has played 5 minis, I believe.
Yeah.
He got to jury once, I think.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, crazy. But when I've watched him play, it was good gameplay. So
exactly. That's how I feel too. Like he does so much studying of this game that, like, when I say decently well, it's kind of, I guess, like gassing it. Like like you said, only made jury once. I thought he made it twice, but that makes way more sense. Like that makes more sense in that terms of it. But I just feel like, and Kim brings up a great point, who's going to come out to play in this live game, the podcaster or the person. I think Brent is going to take this very seriously, and listening to his pregame press, I don't think he's coming he's coming to play. He's not going to come to like mess around.
Yeah.
I think he knows, like, if he does well in this, not only this will look good for himself, obviously he'll like that, like just as an ego boost, and he loves that type of thing, but also it'll look great for the community of Sequester, which he's really, like, obviously the Sequester is on the back of like people like him, people like Lance, people like these people that are actually play the game, win the game even, and like drag it out. But it's also like,
no pun intended.
No pun intended. But Brent, like, also is like, he brings it to the RHAP community, and besides Jay West, I wouldn't know this community because of him. It would take me longer to find out.
I wouldn't have known this community than through Brent.
Exactly. So like, it's just like, I know he's going to take this seriously. And in terms of strategy, like, I feel like that's his motivation. In terms of his strategy, he's friends with Muna. Like he said in his interview that he dropped her off at the airport, or they got back from the airport, and then he like dropped her off to go with the casting, and then he was going to do pregame interviews until he got, mixed in with the cast. So he was very excited about getting to see Muna. So I'm excited to see how that pans out. I could see, like you guys were just saying for the last round, them two plus Shireen mixing it up a little bit and maybe getting in to work with some of these people. But also, like you said, he's played 5 minis, and he's also done a lot of pregame press for other things. So he's probably been around a lot of these people. I know he's played with a few of them in the past. So I'm excited to see how that pans out. And I think he'll take it seriously. I don't know if he'll win. It'd be kind of, I don't really know who he wins against. There's some like floaters there that he could definitely win against just off of pregame knowledge of these people. But I'm happy to have Brent on my side to get to like look at this season through his lens and like hope for his win.
Yeah. I mean, I got to stop down here for a minute. Okay?
Yeah.
So we talked about like polarizing people, how this cast and Brent is the most polarizing person I probably have ever known.
Yeah.
Because like, if anybody had a reason to not like Brent, it would be me. When I won my Sequester mini game, he came out guns blazing against my win. Not against me, against my win. There was a couple people who came against me, and I know who they are, and I have not forgotten.
I don't forget.
Period.
I don't forget. I know who they are, but I'm a big Brent fan. I just cannot. Yeah. And like, here's the thing: hot takes and big opinions make good content.
Yeah.
And he makes great content. He's going to be amazing TV.
Yes.
And I've heard him say on different like podcasts on Twitter, he has said, I give people crap all the time. I give you guys all my hot takes. Like, bring it on. Let me have it. Let me have it.
Mhm.
But you know what that makes me think? I think he does really well this game. And so he's right now, he's like, give me all you got, because he knows he does well. So he's like trying to be all like humble, but he actually does really well. That's one of my opinions. But so anyways, all that to say that like I know people who really don't like him, and I know people who like me who love him no matter what.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm a big Brent fan also. I think that I really liked his interview that he said that he was going to take it really seriously and that he's here to win and not just going to make great TV just for the sake of it. Like I think if he does it, it'll be in conjunction with playing the game hard. That being said, I think you can only like fake it for so long. Like I think he could really try to play the game seriously and really try to win. But if he has an opportunity to make great TV, is he really going to pass it up? I don't know. I don't know if he has it in him to just like say, no, let me just hold my tongue for a minute. I don't know if that's a setting that Brent has. True. That being said, I think that he is one of the people, maybe after Muna, who if he makes it to the end, he wins, no doubt. I think it'd be Muna and then Brent in terms of like biggest threat to win if they got there.
Yeah.
And I'll say this is one thing that I just keep thinking about, and I think this about like Taryn as well, Taryn Armstrong and Melissa Denning. You know these people who podcast about Big Brother or Survivor all the time, and they talk about strategy all the time. And I don't know, you guys have podcasted before. I've podcasted before. It's just the more you talk about it, the more you just want to play. Yeah. Like you just like, and I just am so happy that he got to go do it. And actually get 100%. To put your what's the phrase? Put
money where your mouth is.
Money where your mouth is. Yep.
Put your mouth somewhere. I don't know.
Put your mouth somewhere, baby.
PG podcast, Hannah.
Hit the bell.
So I just am so happy that he gets to actually, put it into action and gets to play. So very happy, and I would love to see Taryn play one day and Melissa play.
Yep.
Yeah. I would love to see Taryn play again. And
Taryn would be great.
Yeah. With that, Hannah, you want to make your next pick?
Okay, so this next pick is actually I think, in my opinion, from what our discussion has been so far, this is probably a risky pick, but this is someone I really want to root for. And I am picking Natalie, Queen Natalie for my team. The very first Sequester mini I played with Natalie. And my very last Sequester mini I played with Natalie. So I know Natalie. I think she has the potential to win this game. Now, she is just, I think that she is one of those people that like, she wants to play big and she does make big moves, but she's also a very, what's the phrase? Me with phrases today. She's very quiet type of personality. She's not the big personality. She's the more soft-spoken person.
Like reserved.
Yeah. But she also does make moves, though. The best placement she got in a mini was 5th. That was the last mini she played. She got 5th, and she was taken out with, I think, with like by one vote by someone who, someone got I think Christine got to take her out because I think I might be misremembering. Anyways, it's been quite a good time in the pandemic. So she has played 6 minis, and she said that she has like learned from each one of them. Her biggest thing going into this game is wanting to be genuine, make those social connections, and make people want to protect her. And if she makes those really good social connections to make people vote for her in the end, I think she can do it.
Yeah.
I think that Natalie, out of everybody on this cast, was the biggest question mark for me. I haven't watched her play in any minis. And from her interview, I really liked her. I'm like, this girl's like very charming. I think that I would want to align with her. But when she was talking about how she's played 6 minis, and I think she was like pre-jury for like 4 or 5 of them, I was just like, how many times does it take you to learn? Like, I guess that she got 5th in one of them, which is really impressive. Like, I think if you get there, like, there's not much difference between getting 5th and winning. Like, you're like right at the end, basically.
I would disagree.
There's a big difference, but I guess I'm saying like she knows like she can get to the end, and she was like a big threat, so she obviously can play well. But just like when I'm comparing her against people like Jacob, who won his first 2 minis that he played in. Like it's a little bit just like I don't know how high I can place her on my draft list, but yeah, she's definitely a big question mark for me. Her interview was so focused on social games. She's like,
Yeah.
I know that my big problem is that I can't make connections with people. So she was just talking about how she's going to like focus really hard on those connections. And I think in a mini versus an LRG, which, I've played both, you have so much time in LRGs to make connections compared to a mini, obviously. And even then, it's still not that much time compared to actually playing Survivor, Big Brother. But again, in a week-long LRG with 13 people, I think she will have time. If she can really focus on the social game and get out of her maybe timid, reserved shell, then maybe she really has it.
Who's going to drag her into a battle match? Who's going to target her at a vote when you can target other people? Like I think she has that, or maybe she does get dragged into a battle match because they think like, oh, she's a small girl, I could beat her in a battle match.
Yeah.
But
even people who are more like shy and reserved, you might think, oh, maybe she's not as confident. Because like Brendan like oozes confidence. Like I wouldn't want to go against a confident person in a battle match, whereas Natalie maybe like, oh, she's uncertain, like she's nervous, like maybe she'll be off guard. So yeah, I might want to.
I know it's we'll see what happens kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to rooting for her.
I'm curious to see where the line is, and this happens every time in the Sequester live games, especially, and definitely in minis actually too. Not to just like cordon that off, but definitely in the live Sequester to see like where they start cutting the floaters out, quote unquote. Not saying Natalie's gonna be a floater, but let's just say she is in that sense. Like especially in this season, there's only 13 people. So at what level do you get rid of a floater? Like I know last season when there was more people, it was around the time where they brought Cameron got back in and all those things, and then people started calling people out. And basically, I forget what they called the challenge, but where they had to like call someone like there's a Survivor challenge, it's like the same thing, but they basically had to say like who doesn't deserve to be here and all those
touchy
things.
subjects.
Touchy subjects, yeah. And they basically did that right after Cameron came back. So I'm curious to see like if you do that around the same time in the boot order, that would be like the final 7, or if they bring someone back, the final 8. So it's almost like if she's the most floatery person, that's kind of goes to show like that, not that she is, but like it goes to show like the strength of this. And I think maybe it'll be one of those things where if she does get dragged in, it's because they see her as a floater. I mean, she gets to prove herself as, no, bitches, I came back, I won this. So, which would be a really cool storyline for
I think that's what it is. Like, I am excited for her to prove herself. That's where I'm at right now. I'm excited for her to, show that, you could be more soft-spoken person, but also be a big player. Yeah. So let's look at the board. So who do we have left on the board and who's going next?
We have Rachel, Marcelo, Josh, Billy, and Jay West, and I accidentally just read them in my draft order. So, which doesn't matter because I have the next 2 picks. So these are my last 2 picks anyway. So with my first pick, I'm gonna pick Rachel because I freaking love her. She's amazing. I didn't know what to expect because she's definitely one of the least known people. But I was so impressed with her. She just seems like the most lovely, like non-aggressive person on the cast. Like, I don't think that I would be intimidated by her. Like, she comes across as extremely intelligent. So I wouldn't want to go against her in a strategy game or anything like that. But I think that I would connect with her. She seems easy to work with. I think she could work with literally anybody on this cast, which is saying something because some of these people are, I think, hard to work with probably. But,
no.
But yeah, I just think that, like, what is she really lacking? If she has a great strategic mind and she's super nice and easy to get along with, like, that's all you need.
Yeah. So I kind of, when I first like saw her in the cast, I was like, who? Because, and like, not saying that you have to like watch a Sequester season and know who everyone is. Right. It's just that we had this Sequester season, we like know of a ton of these people because they played minis. And I don't know if did you guys catch that Audrey like actually encouraged people who were going to play season 4 to play a mini. So I think Rachel was one of those people. She's played 1 mini. And because Audrey kind of like, said it would be really good for you to do that. And she got 4th.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I also thought she would be more of like a reserved person for some reason. But then in her interview, I think it was the RHAP interview, her personality really came out. I could totally see like wanting to work with her. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah, like she's very social, but in a non-threatening way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's someone you want around, and I know it's not. It's like it's 7 days, so that is longer than a mate, obviously, but it's still like a long chunk of time where you want someone that you want to spend time with, and her energy is just great, and someone you'd want to be around, and hopefully strategize with, which she can obviously do well.
Yeah, let me tell you, like in my experience in playing a live game, there was, somebody in particular that I was thinking of who like reminds me personality-wise of Rachel, that I just like gravitated towards her so much, and like Hannah, you're gonna know who it is. I wanted to trust her so much that like I was just blind to, like everything she was doing strategically, and like just wanted to align with her so badly that I wasn't paying attention to anything else. And I think Rachel has that similar sort of magnetism where you're going to be like, Rachel's not going to like do anything against me. Like Rachel's sweet. Rachel would never do that to me. Rachel loves me. I think she has that energy.
I am here for it. I'm here for that. Also, you're talking about Gracie, right?
No.
Oh.
Anyways, I'll go ahead and did anybody else have anything else to say about Rachel?
Mm-mm. Oh, yep, no,
sorry.
you're good.
Sorry, I
We were like, oh no.
Yeah, go for the next one.
Okay, gotcha. So with my last pick, my 4th round pick, I'm going to pick Marcelo.
Oh,
interesting.
right.
Okay.
This was somebody who I didn't know who he was, so I haven't seen all the minis or anything. But I really liked his personality. I saw a little bit I saw myself in him, not just looks wise, but he's one of those people who like seems pretty like chill and sweet when you meet him, but he says that he's like a very defensive player, and that's definitely me. Like I'm very reactive. I'm very chill in a game until someone says my name, and then it like goes from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
So I definitely get that vibe from him. So maybe this is a narcissistic pick, but I think that's similar to Rachel. He seems easy to get along with, at least in the beginning. I think he will be. So he can make allies. He played with Jacob Jones in his first mini, so maybe that's a connection.
Ooh.
Hopefully that's a healthy connection. I don't know exactly what happened. He got 6 in that mini, and that was his first one, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So that bodes well. Yeah, what do you guys think about Marcelo?
I was going to say his personality would seem to pair well with Jacob. I don't remember which one of Jacob's I've seen, but I know I caught the YouTube of it. But that makes sense though, because just from listening to Marcelo's interviews in general, he just seems like someone who's very, I don't know how to describe it, but like you were saying, like if his name comes up, he's going to blow up. But before then, he's very, not under the radar, like a floater, but in terms of social wise, he's just someone who can gravitate to other people. And when it comes to Jacob too, that's like good to have because they kind of are like yin and yang in that sense, which is awesome, even though they both have good social games. But I didn't know they had the connection. So I'm excited to see how that plays out.
And I love what Kim just said, that Marcelo plays with passion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm sure you caught that like brief clip in the trailer where he is like saying like, oh, y'all made a mistake. Or right. What was he saying? Is that what
he goes in. He like yells at a point.
You guys are playing emotionally.
You guys are.
Yeah.
And where, how they're standing outside, like, that clip is very, like, they're all outside. I feel like that's typically when you pull someone I'm trying to remember past seasons when, like, someone gets voted out and they get pulled into a battle match. Like, I feel like that's where that clip was taken.
Yeah.
He's, like, looking at the ground. I'm like, oh, someone just did something against him.
Sorry, Justin was asking in the chat who I was talking about. I was talking about Gracie. I was just messing around. Yeah. Everybody wanted to trust her. Anyways, so let's see. Who is the next pick? It is Hannah with the next pick.
Ooh, okay. So I will. Ooh, you're.
I'm excited.
Pat, I just think you're gonna. I know who you're probably gonna pick next.
Well, because we're on the same page.
Like you guys only have like one pick each left.
Yeah.
I'll leave you. Jay West has not been picked yet, right?
No, you have Billy, Josh, and Jay West.
Okay,
I'm gonna pick who you want.
I'm gonna pick Billy because I definitely was thinking of Billy earlier, so I'm gonna leave Jay West to you.
That's who I was gonna pick next too. Stop.
You weren't even gonna pick your boy Jay West.
Well, listen, I might now.
Well, okay, because it was definitely. Oh man, I feel bad. Well, then oh man.
No, Hannah, do what you gotta do.
Okay,
it's cutthroat game. This is how you're a winner. You know this.
I'm picking Billy because this is once again another person I really want to root for, and I just feel bad because I have not watched Jay West play and I have not watched Josh play. So I don't even know who they are. I mean, but I watched Jay West on season 3, but I literally do not remember him on it. So because I watched season 3 like forever ago. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I get ahead of myself. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Jay West. So I love Billy. I still remember one of her intro videos when she played a mini. She did this rap at her desk, and I still like to this day, like it like gave me chills. Her little Sequester intro video, and I feel like she has placed really well when she has played minis, but I think she was lacking like a killer instinct. I think she, like how we were talking about Rachel, like wants to be your friend or like makes you really like them, but just didn't like have that ability. I think that being said, I think she has learned from that, and I think she will have that killer instinct. Her brother Josh is also really good strategically, and I think he has probably really helped think through some stuff with her, and I think that she has great potential to win this game.
She made it to the end her first time playing, and in her interview said that she didn't realize that she was going to be grilled at the end, half jokingly, but also like didn't know that was how the final tribal, for lack of better calling it, was going to be. And their second time, I only know this because Billy was my homework. So, but she also got 8th place in her second time, made the jury. And she said if she had made it towards the end there, she was already thinking of moves that she wanted to call back to for people to be like, which is good. And then, and to Taryn, she was saying that she, like, her number one value in terms of this game has always been loyalty, which is such a valuable thing. I could see her as a good number 2 or 3 piece to an initial alliance and then maybe pushing ahead there. But also, like, now she's even saying like, oh, I want to be cutthroat. I want to make sure I can have some moves that are specifically under my belt. So that way, when she makes it to the end, she has something to say. So I agree. You know, Billy was one of those people that I was gravitated towards. I don't think I've seen any of her minis, but I was enthralled by the way she speaks, just the way she is so energetic. And Kim said it in the chat. She has such an amazing positive vibe. She wants to surround herself with her. Couldn't agree more. Like, it's seriously like, that's just her vibe. That's Billy. Like, she seems so sweet.
While we're on the topic of Kim, I just want to say Kim is probably my favorite Sequester player ever. So shout out to Kim.
Thanks for watching, Kim.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Kim.
Really, real quick, I do think that probably out of all the reviews I watched, she was probably the one that was like the most likable, like top tier, super likable, can work with anybody in this cast. But I don't know if she like talks about the game the same way that these other players do. And maybe it's hard for me to express, but I just don't get the impression that people are going to be like, oh man, Billy really played the heck out of that game. Like, she really killed it. I don't know if she can really play that sort of a game like at the level that I think other people are going to be playing it. That being said, likability is not going to be underrated. Like, if you go to Final 2 and you're a really likable person, like, you're probably going to get at least a couple of votes. Just some people, not that they'll vote bitterly, but some people are just going to value that likability factor more than others.
Could you tell during the RHAP interviews how Taryn was like making sure that every player got the question of, so will you vote bitterly? Like, he is like on the hunt. He will stop a bitter jury as much as he can. So I love that. I'm like, oh, he is not gonna let a bitter jury stand this season.
Yeah.
And I forget who was. Someone was very honest. I think, was it Jacob, was like, I mean, maybe. I'll have to get over it, but I might vote bitterly.
What Jacob I felt on a very deep level is I need a night of sleep to get over it.
Yeah.
Okay, literally, I've done a jury twice, and one of them I was the last juror, so I like went right into Final Tribal afterwards, and I was effing pissed, so mad. And then the next one I played, I like had a night to sleep on it, and I was fine. Like, I was so annoyed, but I like was thinking very logically.
Yeah.
And so Jacob, I felt that on a deep spiritual level.
Yeah, don't vote out Jacob right before the vote.
Oh no! Oh my God, that'd be entertaining as hell, though.
Yeah, clap up.
Yes, please.
Yeah, someone's answering the question. I don't give a fuck.
That's what I want.
Yeah, give us the TV.
Ooh, all right, so it comes down to. Nope, that's what I got.
No, love her.
Okay, so Pat, you have a pick between Josh and Jay West.
Oh,
And
but
here-
we got the pressure on. Josh is watching.
Oh shit!
You're gonna deny him to his face?
Let me give you the rundown real quick, though, Josh, and to the people listening in general. So we had homework, right? I don't know how quickly you came in or caught at the beginning of it, but we had some homework. We wanted to make sure we divvied this up well. I had an extra person because I wanted to get, obviously, to know them a little bit better because I haven't seen every mini. Josh, you were the first person that I did research on. How amazing is that? But I do have to say, Jay West is the reason I watched Sequester. So, and I've met him. Look, there's my boy right there, Jay West in the chat. Come on, let's go. So I do have to pick Jay West just for those reasons, but not just those reasons. So
Where did you guys meet again?
Survivor casting.
A casting.
Met him in line. Really dope dude. Obviously, I've got a chance to talk to him throughout the year, which has been great. But just in general, though. So let's not just. Obviously, I know Jay West and Josh is dope from the research I've done on you, homie. But Jay West is a competitive person, a fire inside that there's really nowhere else to put that. And in that first game, watching him. That was my first season watching, and I just met him and all these things, and I got to meet him for a little bit and all that. But if I know he can control that fire inside, and I think we're going to be if you're a Jay West fan, pleasantly surprised with how this man is about to do in this season. Seriously, I think he came into last season with the fire under his ass. Totally understandable. I would play the same way. I haven't played an LRG. I've only done ORG. So I would play the same way as him. But he found an LOS, got to use it, got to literally look in someone's eyes and tell them, just basically curse them out, which was iconic. And from there, there's really nowhere else you can go. But now coming in, he's one of those people that I don't think has a target on their back for the same reason as Muna or for the same reason as Jacob or for Brendan or any of those people. He has a target because he's literally the first returnee in Sequester live games. That's crazy. So he's going to have to mitigate that, lower that threat level, which I think he understands. And I could see him going far. He is someone that, if there's still battle backs this season, he is a threat to make sure that he can go in there and do it well. Obviously, it didn't work out that last time, but still, he's someone that's always going to be a physical threat. And strategically, there's these people that had their mini connections, from the minis, but I can see him making those connections with some of the other people out there. I would love to see him, like I said, either him working with Shireen or something like that. They're either going to love each other or hate each other. I'm excited to see how that goes, and that could be a big bridge. There's a lot I'm looking forward to. And even if there's another person, I'd probably still pick Jay West because I want him to be my last on my squadron.
Yeah, I think that he has the ability. He got to play. He knows exactly what he did wrong. He knows exactly what he's getting himself into, and I think that he is how I said about Brendan. He's either going to be voted out real quick or he's going to make it to the end.
Yep. I feel it.
I think
I don't feel that. I don't feel that way at all. I don't think he's coming in with the target at all. Compared to the rest of these people, who's gonna care they played one round of Sequester last year? He was the second round boot basically over a really boneheaded mistake to basically purposely get thrown into a battle match against a guy that he didn't like and had really no business. He got manipulated by Jess basically to go against this guy in a battle match, and then he lost the battle match. It's a big boneheaded mistake, so that's why I'm not feeling great about him. And the guy they played the battle match against didn't even seem like he would be that big of a threat in a battle match. So I'm just, I don't know. I'm not feeling great about Jay.
I love it.
You cut up a little bit when you were talking, but I definitely caught that you were not. You don't have high hopes for him.
As I wish he could have heard, not that I Jordan's dope. I'm not saying I'm not obviously I'm a Jordan fan. But I'm not saying I'm not Jordan's number one big bus fan coming. I am. I appreciate the man. But I'm saying if he had heard that before the game and then went in, that would have been wild. I feel that would have been even for me, if someone told me that if I ever played Survivor or Sequester or something like that, and someone told me that would light a fire under my ass. Not to go crazy, but to be yo, let me prove you wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm glad this season's already filmed.
I wish that I was cool enough to have a nickname like Jay West. H Flem does not have a good ring to it.
H Flem, baby.
Like, I can't be Jay West. There's no H Flem going on.
I kind of like H Flem. I'll
H
say it.
Flem.
H Flem, baby. Let's get it.
Sounds like a disease, like, with phlegm.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
get that mask on, baby. H Flem's coming to town. That's not the right year for H Flem.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna be changing my name now.
H Flem, baby.
H Flem, baby. Let's go.
But also, rolling out of H Flem Town, to our last person, he's the person I've done the research on. Kim's laughing at us in the chat. Love it. We got Josh.
Let's talk about Josh.
Josh.
Guys, I am so sad that he did not get drafted because this man was like number 7 on my draft list, or he was number 9 on my draft list. But you guys just, I got to
here's the
my
thing. I have not watched a mini he played, which I know he's played many. And so it's hard to pick someone that I don't know anything about over people that I've seen play, Yeah. But I really enjoyed his interviews that I listened to.
Okay, he got 7th in his first mini and then was 5th out in his second one, which I was like 5th out in my first one. So good job, Josh, and
the empathy.
First one. But I really liked him. I do think that he has really high first boot potential because he is one of the unknowns. So I think that maybe some of the bigger names are going to be like, we can't let a big name go first. And to call the shots and play bold. I'm like, if he is an unknown coming in without connections and trying to call the shots on the first round, that's going to go really badly. But I think that he's extremely smart. He said he's played social strategy games all his life, basically. So I do have hope that if he makes it past the first round, I think he would be a huge force to be reckoned with because people aren't going to know his game.
That's very fair, too. The only thing that deterred me from picking him, I honestly would have picked Jordan regardless. And here's why. The red flag for me was in the Terran interview. He said that the player that he really wants to play like is like Tony Vlachos. Like if he had to pick a survivor to play like, he'd pick like Tony Vlachos. And that was just really off-putting to me, just in the sense that I feel like when I'm not anything in the Sequester community, so I haven't played or done any minis or anything. But I agree with you. If you're not one of those big name people, it's kind of hard to come out there and play like Tony, because Tony really was a force to be reckoned with in Cagayan.
Well, wouldn't you say?
But you know what I'm saying though. It's weird because if he comes out the gate and is trying to cause chaos, some people can do well.
Tony was able to play Tony because people didn't know Tony.
True.
He could be talking about Cagayan though. We don't know. But I do think that Tony style of gameplay is perfectly suited to Sequester. I think, again, calling back to the Shireen quote, it rewards bold moves, bold behavior. I'm just worried that if he does too much too soon, that's my big issue. But again, I had him ranked 9 out of 13, so I didn't have him, undrafted.
High. Yes.
But, and he was one of my favorite people. If I was gonna list people that I liked the most, he would be 3 or 4.
Who was 13, Luke?
Spencer.
I love it. I just want to hear you say it. Because I picked him 3rd. I was like, damn, I should have really waited.
I know you weren't really fighting us for him, Pat.
Yeah, you really should wait a long
time. Once again, you did such a great job in a draft.
It was really the back-to-back for me. That was another one. I was like, Jacob, no, F that. The winner back-to-back, I don't need him.
No, I'll take Spencer.
I'm maybe me, my love of straight men. Anyway, so those are our 13 people on this cast. What do we think? What's going to happen in this first episode?
We saw a lot of people yelling in the trailer, and I'm so excited for that. We saw Brendan had his hair up in a ponytail. Boy is here to play.
Yes,
he put a ponytail in. I'm so excited, guys. I'm so pumped.
It's just the perfect time. I mean, this is when it came out last year, obviously, too. But this is the perfect time of the year. There's a lot going on, but also there's not that much going on at the same time. And especially this year to have the amazing races going on. I'm pretty into the season, but to have a live Sequester season go on during a pandemic, have it go safely, have it go smoothly, and then we get this every week now, especially when there's not going to be Survivor or Big Brother coming up. It's the best thing to look forward to. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yeah. So be sure to follow along in the LRG Facebook page, LRG YouTube, and we will be figuring out a regular time to weekly episode recap.
Yeah, we haven't picked out a time yet, but we'll figure it out. Also, Podquester is doing coverage and RHAP is doing coverage. So, I mean, I know I'll be listening to that. So I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to do anything at the same time they do. So we'll figure out a time that we'll be
have
going
our people
live.
call your people.
Yeah. Do you guys want to drop your Twitter handle at all? I know I tweet. I don't know if you guys will, but I'll be tweeting as I watch along. My Twitter is Hannah Gilia spelled Gilia, if you want to follow me there.
I don't tweet, but feel free to shoot me a Facebook DM. I don't even know what my Twitter handle is, but let me go.
If you don't tweet, why would someone follow you?
Yeah, they follow just for the
You don't even
clout.
follow me, but you can like DM me about the if you want. Follow the clout. I'm leap year _ Luke.
There we go.
If you want to follow the Diary Room podcast, we'll eventually podcast again, but also my Instagram is Pat Moon Emoji, spelled exactly like that. It might be protected, so you might have to follow me, but I'll let you in if you are a Sequester or LRG homie, because I love my Survivor and Sequester fan.
Love it, yeah. And you can find, like I said at the beginning of this audio will be on our podcast, which is just search Live Reality Games, you'll see it, and it'll be on YouTube and all that jazz. So anything else we got to say before we peace out?
Thank you.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for everyone that's been sticking around with us too. It's been really great to see you guys' comments along the way.
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
Queen Kim,
Jay West, Josh this season. So many awesome people.
Yeah, thanks for watching along, guys. This has been so fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to just give out hot takes, serve our hot takes each week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Luke to hate on Spencer some more. It's going to be a blast.
You know what? I want him to impress me. Prove me wrong, Spencer.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I'll go ahead and end this stream and see you guys next week and see you guys in the chat on Sunday night for the show.
Yes.
Woo! Thank you, guys.